Hello again, YouTube. Ted Visner, November 4th still. I wanted to make another video and talk about some things that I've done and some things that have happened that have lent me perspective that I can share with you from a first-hand perspective. In 2010, the Isabella County Sheriff's Department stole my family's house and its contents at 829 East Walton in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, using a fake eviction created in the federal court by a local attorney here by the name of Bruce Havens. Bruce Havens concocted this filing in the federal court to look, feel, and act and be used like a federal court-ordered eviction to get my family out of our house at 829 East Walton on September 27th, 2010. I've never been able to get any redress for this. Okay, the Sheriff's Department refused to help me because the Sheriff's Department was the organization that used this fraudulent federal court eviction to get us off the property under threat of arrest. The deputy involved was Clinton Steinert. Isabella County Sheriff Deputy Clinton Steinert was doing a favor for co-worker Shelley Sweet by executing essentially this fraudulent fake eviction created by Bruce Havens. This started my investigation into what's going on with our government here in Michigan and Isabella County. Just yesterday, it came across my Facebook that Isabella County elected Sheriff Leo Matashevsky is resigning. Sheriff Leo Matashevsky should have done the right thing in 2010. He should have been my sheriff. He should have actually helped us out with redress with regard to the Sheriff's Department taking our house, but instead he opted to ignore what happened and cover and conceal what happened and became part of the problem rather than part of the solution. Well, you know, I'm here to tell you folks, when a sheriff's department pits itself against you, you're in some real trouble. You're in for some real heartache. And that's what it's been like here for the last 5 years, almost 6 years now. That was what kicked off like I said, my investigation into what's going on here with the county and the state. And that's what's actually made me an enemy of the state because of my seeking redress for the theft of my family's home and its contents. You can't even imagine what that's been like over the last 5 years. The most common comments that I get when I post this story are, how have you been able to maintain your composure? And tell me, folks, I'm telling you, folks, it's been a real struggle. Who would ever think that a man can't find restitution in the courts when something so blatant happens? I mean, it's really simple. Bruce Havens created this notice of intent to sell, take possession of our house, filed it in the federal court, and then Shelley Sweet and the Sheriff's Department here in Isabella County used it as though it were a court-ordered eviction, when it was basically just a document filed by a lawyer in a federal court. So that's the fraudulent part of what's going on here, and that's what's kicked off my attempts to not only seek redress for my family, but also to address the issues with how this can happen in America, in Michigan, my home state, how this can happen here. You know, this is too hard for a lot of folks to even fathom, how a sheriff's department can involve itself with the theft of people's personal property. But it happens, and it's happening all over the country. This is why it's so important for us to have and maintain a constitutional sheriff's office, a sheriff of the people, a sheriff for the people, okay, the ultimate public servant. And of course, what happened to me will happen to everybody. You know, once we've lost our foothold, once we've given up, once we've stopped recognizing what can happen and what will happen when we don't have a constitutional sheriff in office in each of our counties. Since then, life has been a living hell. The county has plastered my mugshot all over the county as though I'm some sort of terrorist. They've actually convinced themselves that I'm some sort of terrorist because I have these issues with the county. Now, the county's approach here has been strictly to preserve the public trust. Okay, if my story were to actually make mainstream media and it were picked up and it were run, what would happen to the public trust here in Isabella County? What would happen to the public trust here in Michigan? What would happen to the trust and faith that our politicians that know about this and didn't do anything? What would happen to the public trust? What would happen to Rick Snyder? He knows about it. My name is on his desk every day. What about Bill Schuette? Okay, our alleged Michigan Attorney General who's got his eyes on the governor's seat. He's been helping Isabella County keep this stuff under wraps for the last 5 years. Bill Schuette's office claimed to be conducting a criminal investigation a couple years ago. And I started submitting evidence to them, and they just stopped talking to me. You know, I guess they felt that the press issue was over. You know, we got some airtime on Patriot Talk Radio, the Greg Marshall Show, and that's what got them talking at least about conducting a criminal investigation. Bill Schuette's been cornered at least twice by two of my friends that cornered him in his BS fundraising campaigns. So, this is where I'm coming from. This is what's lent me the perspective that I have. Okay, and since then, I've lost another house to the same county under different circumstances. This time, it went through the court. There actually was a court order created to evict me from my property. But in this particular case, alleged Judge Eric Janes denied me standing. Denied my wife standing. We both went to court for an eviction, and we were both denied standing. See, the bank here tried to change the redemption period. The bank can't evict you from your property till the end of the redemption period. Our redemption period was 12 months. They changed. The bank said it was 6 months, and all of a sudden the courts are agreeing with the bank, even though they wanted to deny us standing to argue that point. Okay, we couldn't even argue the redemption issue, which is probably and fundamentally the biggest issue. Okay, we had planned to launch a quiet title action against the bank at some point in the 12 months, dealing with all the other stuff we're dealing with, and we weren't able to do that. And I think that was part of the strategy, not only of the bank but of the county and the judge and the corporate sheriff that actually carried out all this crap against us. And I want to touch really quick on the first shots of the Revolution video that I put out that went viral. People are saying that this was suicidal, it was selfish, it was this, it was that, it was the other thing, but you don't really get perspective until you look at the fact that I'm already an enemy of the state, that these people are trying to make me look like a terrorist, they're trying to make me look like a bad guy. They're posting my mugshot all over the county, in every county building, so that people can see my face and know me to be, this bad guy that I'm not. So what would you do, if you knew an impending eviction, fraudulent or otherwise, was going to happen to you and your family? What would you do? Okay, when I posted that video, I had a specific purpose. And right now I'm going to tell you what that purpose was. Okay, I didn't threaten anybody from law enforcement. I threatened to preserve and protect my property, my family's property. That's what I threatened. Okay, that was the threat. Okay, now when I put this threat out there, what did I do? I brought attention to the situation. Okay, a lot of attention. Why did I do that? If I was going to go Rambo on the sheriff's department, why would I put out a video that said I was going to go Rambo on the sheriff's department? We have a government for the protection and preservation of our personal property and our real property. So what happens when that goes away? And this is exactly what happened in our case. First, we're denied standing by Eric Janes, the alleged judge here in Isabella County that was appointed to be here in my county by the same governor of this state that refuses my family any redress. Okay, so he was put here on purpose. So he denies us standing. The sheriff's department carries out this fraudulent foreclosure, the fraudulent eviction. My wife and I are denied standing in court, and bada bing, bada boom, I have men with guns going to come to my house and kick me out. So I published this video primarily to bring attention and essentially bring safety and security to myself. Okay, how can the sheriff's department come to my property and just shoot me because I'm still there if I'm expecting that and if I've published that? That video was created for one purpose, and that was to create safety for myself again. With the same rogue sheriff's department here that doesn't have any trouble stealing stuff from my family for whatever reason. Another thing that came out in court in this trial, this mock trial I had with 7 jurors that, was all cooked up by the county. The undersheriff was on the stand. I don't even know why he was there. And here's another real quick thing I want to throw in. The undersheriff, the sheriff's department, was sitting with the prosecution during my whole trial, as if partnered somehow. Anyways, the undersheriff on the stand, and I'm going to get these transcripts and I'm going to publish the hell out of them. People need to see this and understand what's going on. The undersheriff talked about this database that's maintained by the county, this database that is shared by the police, shared by the prosecution's office, shared by the judges, shared by everybody in the county. Essentially, the state has this database that they use, and they use it against the people. This is essentially one big database where they can say anything about anybody without any due process, and then everybody has the same ill opinion of anybody that's being targeted by the state. And it just stands to reason. Go back through my videos and listen to the Melody Lake video at Danny Austin's family team meeting. Okay, that is what's going on here, folks. The state is maintaining this massive database against that take people like myself, and they throw me in there, and they put this stuff that they want other state actors to believe, and then all of a sudden that's their reality. It's kind of like to be on the sex offender registry, you have to go through due process, but for your county to start throwing crap at you, all you have to be is in this database maintained by the people that don't like you, and all of a sudden you are an enemy of the state. And that's what's happened, and this is why it was important for me to get the undersheriff on the stand, because that's what he talked about. He talked about the sharing of information. All these people are sharing information that there was no due process related with. There's no due process. The same idiot sheriff deputy, Clinton Steiner, that testified at my trial that a 9mm magazine was a weapon, is the one entering this shit in this database. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, what the hell's going on? Why is this allowed to happen? If we're going to employ idiot deputies that think a magazine for a gun is actually a weapon, we need to restart. We need to, start rethinking our procedures here. This is crazy. Clinton Steiner, you're an effing idiot. Okay, you're an effing idiot. A 9mm magazine is not a weapon. See, you folks.